Hey everybody, and welcome back to a new video. Today I'm going to show you how to make a good looking cinematic sequence with the X100V and what kind of equipment you're going to need to do that. It's pretty easy. It's something that you probably already have as a photographer, so don't stress out too much. Now why I want to do this is because even though the X100V is a great photography camera, it has actually pretty decent video capabilities. You can do 4K with it, and that is enough for me to make a cinematic sequence, more than enough. Even though you can't record more than 10 minutes at a time, you can make a cinematic sequence with that. Just do 10 minutes at a time and then you go edit and do stuff, So let's just go quickly to the equipment, and I'm gonna show you what kind of equipment you're gonna need. Okay, so definitely the first thing you're gonna need is a tripod, because this has no internal stabilization. So you're gonna need to stabilize the footage somehow, and I suggest staying away from handheld footage. The camera is really lightweight and it's gonna have a lot of micro shakes and shakes in general if you're gonna try and do handheld footage. So don't do that. Just use a tripod every time you can, or a slider or something like that. Now the second thing that I really like to use is the ND filter over here on the front, because, well, the settings that I use are pretty much manual. I like to use a shutter speed of 48 of a second and do 24 FPS. So that means that it's going to take a lot of light in, and if you want, for example, some depth, separate a subject from the background, stuff like that, then you're gonna have to, widen up the aperture, and it's gonna take even more light in. So you're gonna need an ND filter. That's what I highly suggest. You can try out if you want to without an ND filter, but you're gonna lose a lot of motion blur and stuff that actually make a cinematic sequence look cinematic. Now you can shoot these with the film simulations, of course. There's a lot of videos out there using classic chrome or classic negative, stuff like that. But I like to color grade my videos myself, so I use F-Log. And usually that means that I have to overexpose the footage a little, let's say 2/3 or maybe even 1. So yeah, overexpose it a little bit so it helps out. But if you're using film simulations, it's more easier just to, after you put it on the computer, see what the edit looks like, and you can actually see it already in the camera, so it helps out a lot just to use film simulations. But if you're an editing guy, you want to color it yourself, use F-Log. Now when I'm using a tripod with the X100V, I really like to use a tripod like this one here that has a handle. And with this handle, you can do a lot of panning shots, up and down, left to right, right to left shots, So it's great for that. And well, yeah, because you can't, and I don't suggest doing panning shots handheld. You can actually get really cool shots with this tripod, even though this is the worst tripod I probably have in my room, in my office. But I like to use it in these kind of situations. Now I'm just gonna show you the next shots of those panning shots, how you can actually manage them with this kind of tripod, because I have to go pretty much to the highway, not on the highway that much, but I don't see any use taking you guys with me because it's gonna be really loud, cars passing by all the time, and you can't even hear me if I'm gonna be explaining anything. So here are the shots. Okay, so we're back at the office and we're gonna start to edit these clips. First of all, there's only 2 things you're gonna need to know, and these are pretty simple things, so you don't have to get stressed out about these either. So the first thing is a thing that probably every kind of editing software has, even on phones, that makes your clips and footage look cinematic as possible. And that's putting on bars. So I got my clips right here. I've already cut them, put them in place. These are in no kind of order because this is just for the purpose of showing you how to make a cinematic sequence from the footage you can take with the X100V. And of course, the X100V is a great way to tell a story. If you're a photographer like me, you can actually film what came before taking those photos, etc. Just take the X100V with you and tell a story with that, with taking some clips and then taking photos and putting them on to the editing board and to the timeline and showing people like a short story, a short cinematic story of your photography. So the first simple trick is to add an adjustment layer. Press OK, put that on top of your footage, put it from start to end, then go to Effects, select Crop, and put that in there, that onto the adjustment layer. Then to the top, I usually like to use 11 to 13%, so let's just put straight out 13% to the top and to the bottom. And there you go, you have your black bars, cinematic black bars there that you can use to make it look cinematic. So next off, of course, what tells the story is colors. I use another adjustment layer, and what I use for color grading, this is not a color grading video, so I'm not going to show you any detailed color grading, but what I like to use is Dehancer, like you probably know already, and I got my own Fujifilm F-Log that I use, and I put that in there and it turns it to look as cinematic as possible. Of course, this is not the color scene that I want to use. I'm gonna edit and tweak it a little bit. So here's the end result. So I hope you liked the cinematic sequence. I just think that I'm still forgetting something. If I am, if you think I am forgetting something, comment down below, ask me questions. I will answer you the best way possible I can. And if I think that there's enough questions to answer, I'll make another video like this and tell you how to add those things into the cinematic sequence. But yeah, remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I'll be seeing you on the next one.